I just took delivery of the brand new Model Y, and it's more than just a small update. It feels like a true Model Y 2.0. It's quieter, smoother, better tech, better ride. Everything about this car feels new. So today I'm going to go over my first impressions and the things that immediately stood out to me as soon as I got behind the wheel, so you can see what's really changed and whether it's worth the upgrade. Let's dive in. The exterior of the new Model Y feels both familiar and fresh, with several but subtle meaningful updates. Up front, the redesigned light bar and nose gives the car a cleaner, more modern look, while the rear now features a continuous light bar, a refined diffuser, and that all works together to give the back end a more cohesive and premium appearance. Tesla's also added a practical touch to the frunk with a built-in drain which helps prevent water from pooling, a small but thoughtful improvement. On top, Tesla slightly tweaked the glass roof to not only look sleek, but also to further reduce heat from entering the cabin, making the interior feel cooler and more comfortable on sunny days. These exterior tweaks may not dramatically change the overall silhouette, but they add a level of refinement and function that really elevates the overall presence of the car. Stepping inside the new Model Y, you immediately notice how much Tesla has refined the driving experience. The steering wheel has a completely new design paired with a traditional turn signal stock that's simple, intuitive, and easy for anyone to use. Right on the wheel, a camera button gives you instant access to a high-quality front, side, and rear feeds, and the windshield washer is now a button on the steering wheel as well. Now obviously you still have your dual wireless chargers right below the screen, but they aren't cooled, so they'll keep your devices powered, but they won't actively regulate temperature. Tesla's also added an auto shift functionality, making gear changes more seamless and subtle, which contributes to a smoother and more refined driving experience. Now you also get blind spot indicators on the A-pillars, and they are standard, making lane changes safer and more confident, especially in busy traffic. The doors themselves feel more solid thanks to the improved latches and seals, along with more refinement in the acoustic glass, which significantly quiets the cabin and reduces wind and road noise. The doors have been fully redesigned with a more premium layered look that immediately elevates the interior feel. The door thunk has also been improved, giving a more satisfying solid feel when closing, even though it's still not quite perfect. Finally, the seats feel noticeably more comfortable, and the ventilation system keeps the cabin well balanced and giving you a more relaxed, premium feeling ride. Overall, this makes it clear that Tesla is focused heavily on the small touches that improve day-to-day driving and the overall experience of the new Model Y. Moving beyond just the driver's seat, the new Model Y really shines in overall comfort and interior refinement. The ambient lighting system is fully customizable, letting you choose from a range of colors and save those presets to set the perfect mood for any drive. Tesla has also added a smart rear seat fold function, which now automatically folds down and up the rear seats. This makes it easier than ever to configure the cabin for cargo or passengers. The dashboard and the interior panels now feature updated stitching and soft touch materials, giving the cabin a more premium tactile feel that feels like a real step up from the previous generation. Even the glove box has been refined, now featuring a magnetic latch that makes opening and closing it smooth and satisfying, another small touch that contributes to a more polished and thoughtful cabin experience. These upgrades really emphasize Tesla's focus on making the interior feel not just functional, but genuinely enjoyable to spend time in. So let's talk about the suspension and the ride quality of the new Model Y. Tesla has made significant strides in the NVH category of the new Model Y. Road noise is down about 20% compared to the previous generation, and wind noise is down about 22% compared to the previous generation. You'll certainly feel these differences when you're driving on the highway, when you're driving on rough pavements. Certainly if you're coming from the previous Model Y, you'll notice these differences, especially if the Model Y was before 2023, because they made a slight improvement in the suspension in 2023, but now the suspension has been even more refined. The wind noise has reduced significantly, and there's more insulation and more dampening in the new Model Y, which gives it a better ride quality and better overall comfort while you're driving. I recently made a roughly 300-mile round road trip in the new Model Y, and I definitely noticed these differences, especially on the highway going 70-80 miles an hour. I noticed the wind noise and the road noise was much less than my previous Model Y. My previous Model Y was a 2022 Model Y Performance, and a big factor was because the suspension was the old suspension, and also it was the 21-inch Uber turbine wheels. And having low-profile wheels certainly plays a factor in having more wind noise or more road noise and just less overall comforts. And also compared to my 2021 Model Y long range, it is also a big difference as well. That had, I think, 19-inch wheels and tires. And I think this one does have 19-inch wheels and tires as well. So the wheels and tires are a big factor. The suspension, the seats have been improved in the new Model Y, and also just more dampening, more insulation in strategic places certainly improve the new Model Y. And also another big complaint people had of the old Model Y was sort of the boominess the trunk had in the rear seats. Sort of like sound sort of echoed, especially when you close the trunk. You can hear the boominess and the low sound resonance that it had. And that was a big complaint for a lot of people. I certainly noticed it, especially when it was quiet in the car, there's no one else in the car. And there was like no music playing. I certainly noticed like the boominess and the overall just like not echo that it had, just like if something hit it, because it was all plastic back there, you certainly hear it. Now it's just dampened with felt. Also, they've added insulation in the trunk hatch as well, more insulation. All these improvements are a huge win for comfort. The car feels less tinny. It's definitely setting itself apart from the competition in the mid-size crossover SUV category. Not that it needs to, because it's already the best-selling car, not just the best-selling EV in the world, the best-selling car in the world. The most numbers produced, the highest volume of cars sold is the Model Y. I want to thank Ekster for sponsoring this portion of the video. They sent me a couple of their wallets to try out, and I've actually used their stuff before. These are their Pro wallets, and they're honestly one of the nicest slim wallets I've tried. They're way smaller than a traditional bifold, but still hold up to 14 cards plus cash. The main thing I love is this quick access button. Hit it and all of your cards fan out for easy grab and go. They're made from recycled materials with either aluminum or Italian leather, so they feel super premium but still durable. Just like with a Tesla, it's all about sleek design and smart functionality. Ekster also has a Finder card, which is basically a credit card size tracker that works with Apple's Find My app. Slip it into your wallet or your bag, and if you misplace it, you can ping it, track it on a map, or even get notified if you leave it behind. The battery lasts about 6 months on a full charge, and it's water resistant too. And this one's pretty clever. It's their travel pack vacuum kit. It's basically their modular travel bag that lets you compress it with the included mini pump. It shrinks down clothes by about 60%, so you can actually fit like 15 to 20 items in a carry-on or a backpack without paying extra baggage fees. Plus, the bags are waterproof and odor-proof, so your clothes stay fresh even if your trip gets messy. Ekster is running a fall sale right now through November 5th with up to 35% off site-wide. And if you use my code MATT, you'll get an extra 10% off on top of that. I will leave a link below if you want to check them out. Tesla's added new frequency response dampeners, and these reduce the vibrations on the road roughly about 50%. So that means potholes, uneven pavements, gravel certainly feel less jarring and less uncomfortable. Also, one thing that surprised me is you don't sacrifice sportiness for all these comfort gains. You still have instant torque, you have great acceleration, and it has a sporty feel to it as well. It feels nimble, it feels agile, and I feel comfortable throwing it around corners, on windy roads. It overall is a great driving experience. So the combination of all these improvements, dampers, and chassis tweaks makes the Model Y have a more relaxed personality. You don't feel the car vibrating as much through the cabin as before, so long drives certainly feel easier and more relaxed. Okay, let's talk about FSD briefly. So I did not have FSD on my 2021 and 2022 Model Y. I did get a free 1-month trial of FSD on my 2022 Model Y last year, and I can say certainly there's a big improvement from FSD last year to this year. The car no longer feels like it's sort of, guessing where it's got to go, or it basically feels more confident now. It makes turns less jerky. It smoothly changes lanes as well, and getting on and off the highway is a breeze. With that said, I won't be purchasing FSD, especially since it's $8,000 or $100 a month. I don't see the value there for $8,000. Maybe if I'm going on a cross-country road trip, sure, I'll purchase the $100 for that month, and it'll certainly take the burden off of driving, especially those long drives on empty roads. I see the value there. As far as that, I don't know if it's the honeymoon phase of the Model Y. I enjoy driving it every day. I don't know if it's just the novelty of it. We'll see if that wears off, or it didn't wear off for me on my Model Y Performance, but that was a performance trim, so it was sportier, it was quicker, it was faster, all of that. I'll definitely be updating you guys about that with a new Model Y. And let's talk about the range. So the range of this Model Y, this is a Model Y long range all-wheel drive. It gets 327 miles on a full charge. That's roughly a 4 or 5% improvement from the previous generation. So a lot of people see that and say, okay, 327, that's pretty good. I won't be buying an EV until it's 500-600 miles. That's kind of, I mean, maybe eventually it'll happen, but that method of thinking is not the best way to approach it. Think about it this way. Especially on road trips, you only travel as far as your bladder takes you, or if you get hungry. So having so much range, I mean, yeah, it's great, but you may want to stop to grab a bite to eat. You may want to stop, to stretch, use the bathroom. Especially with people's commutes, you don't need 327 miles. It's really rare for someone's commute to be that much for a day. The average commute is about 40-50 miles a day. Even if you say you double it to 80 to 100 miles a day, you have more than enough charge for your daily commute. When you get home, you just simply plug it in like how you plug in your phone before you sleep. Charges up full battery each day or to whatever limit you set it to, and then you don't have to worry about standing in a supercharger or just waiting for it to charge. You don't have to, like a gas car, you don't have to wait in the gas station and fill it up and stand in line, do all that sort of stuff. You get home, plug it in, you're good to go. With that said, there are a couple of ways to charge at home. You have a standard 120 volt outlet. That's a Tesla mobile connector. You just plug it in. It charges about 3 or 4 miles of range per hour. That's the slowest method. The best method and the fastest way is to get a Tesla wall connector, and that charges at about 44 miles of range per hour charged. That is a significant step up from the Tesla mobile connector. You have to hardwire it to your breaker box. It's a 60 amp circuit. So definitely get some quotes if you have like a garage, or you can even install it outside as well. Get some quotes from multiple electricians to shop around and see the fair price for installation. Another like sort of middle ground for that is installing like a dryer outlet, something like a NEMA 1450 outlet. Installing that gets you about 30 to 33 miles of range per hour charge. That is still a solid method. Those are 3 ways to charge at home. Obviously, you have a supercharger, but that's not really meant for everyday charging, unless if you don't have a place to charge at home or your apartment. More so meant for like road trips. About 10 or 15 minutes of a supercharger gets you 200 miles. So that's more than enough to continue your road trip. You don't need to charge to 100% when you're on a road trip. You just charge to whatever the navigation tells you, or charging up to 80% is like the quickest way. And then from 80 to 100 takes longer. That's just how it is for batteries. So you won't be standing at a supercharger for hours and hours. I mean, if you want to, you can charge from like 0 to 100%. It takes about an hour, but 0 to like, I think 80% takes, I don't know, 20 to 35 minutes, something like that, depending on the supercharger. But usually you get at a supercharger when you're, I think, like whatever the navigation tells you, whether it's like 10 or 20%, and then charges up to like 50 to 80%. It takes like 10-20 minutes. Certainly if you're at the newest superchargers that are 325 kilowatts. The older ones are 150 kilowatts, and then there's another one that's 250 kilowatts, and then the fastest one that Tesla has, 325 kilowatts. So when you're navigating, maybe try to get to the 325 kilowatt superchargers. They're just faster. Another thing that really impressed me were the speakers. The new Model Y's audio system is a serious step up, especially in the all-wheel drive version, which comes with a 15-speaker setup, including a dedicated subwoofer. From the moment you fire it up, the difference is obvious. The highs are crisp and detailed without ever crossing into harshness. The lows are deep, tight, and punchy thanks to that subwoofer, and there's a genuine sense of spaciousness in the cabin. Tesla has also retuned the mid-range, which might be the biggest improvement here. Vocals, guitars, podcasts, and even phone calls feel clearer and more natural, sitting right in that sweet spot where they don't get lost in the mix. It's not just about power. The system is immersive and balanced. You can pick out the layers in your favorite songs you might have missed before, and when you crank it up, the cabin fills with rich, distortion-free sound that feels more like a home theater than a car stereo. Compared to the previous Model Y, it's night and day. The old system was really good, but this one feels premium on a whole nother level. Whether you're streaming lossless audio, taking hands-free calls, or just queuing up a podcast on your commute, the refinements and clarity makes every drive more enjoyable. It's clear that Tesla put real effort into tuning the soundstage and optimizing it for the new, quieter cabin, and the result is one of the best audio experiences you'll find in this class. So that's my first look at the all-new Model Y, and wow, what a step forward. Quieter, smoother, more refined, and packed with thought helpful updates. If you enjoyed this first impressions video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be diving deeper into more features in driving impressions soon. And I want to hear from you. What do you think of the new Model Y? Are these updates enough to make it worth the upgrade? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below.